Alrighty guys, I thought this might be kind of entertaining and be something that you guys might enjoy. But I have both my 44Ls here in one spot. One I believe is fairly original, and another which I have built pretty much out of parts over the years. I acquired, so I'll start over here and step back into this 44 project quite a bit. But I acquired this Parts L years and years ago, and when I went to take it apart originally I was going to part it out, and the block was cast iron on it, which I thought was kind of different, I guess is the best way to explain it. At the time I didn't know what that meant, but what I come to find out was they only made cast iron lower ends from about 1942 to mid-46-ish, give or take, where I'm going to go with that, and that is just, an air quotes kind of date. So I found that out, and at that point I decided not to part this thing out. And then at that point I slowly have been acquiring parts over the years to put this thing together. I found this 9191 fan shroud, fuel tank. It had I'm pretty sure it had these handlebars on it. It's possible I could have switched them, but who knows at this point. This has at least been 10 years ago, I bet, I bought this L. I think I bought this L well, I had the YouTube channel, but I was not making YouTube videos yet, I don't think. But anyhow, so I know this one was factory updated, and it actually doesn't have the cam sticking out of the block anymore. This one was converted, or at least best as I can tell, machined and updated to the high volume oil pump, and it is plumbed correctly for that. One of my main holdups with this tractor, and the reason it probably never got finished, is I could never seem to come across the steel intake, which that one has. So that was something I just never painted the tractor and never had a reason to because of that. And I actually have a whole nother cast iron block, which I'm trying to remember where it's at. I think it's actually behind this door over here, I think, on the shelf. But and I have another old style intake cam which I could put back on this to make it period correct, But that would involve me taking the block off again, which I've had this block off 2 or 3 times messing with oil leaks. And I got a Fairbanks Morse Magneto working good to put on here. It still had the, I believe this had the original air filter or air cleaner set up on it. These tires were on it when I got it. That's all I can really say. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had the tires off this thing, best of my knowledge. Okay, but some other similarities that I've seen between these is the advanced castings were held on with studs and fine thread nuts, which I believe you guys can see it there. There's one nut missing. There's one nut behind the camera too, but anyhow, this is studs as well on this 44. And I really don't see any like defining, really defining markers in the, because it's still a L202. Yep, casting. There is. This one still has the intake cam. Somebody has, I know this has been updated at some point in time, because this has the newer valve covers on it, or valve adjusters on it. So that means somebody has at least had the cylinder off at least once, because this one over here still has the spring-loaded style on it, which I think I made sure to leave that on here whenever I redid this tractor. I did a top-end rebuild on this tractor. It's probably been 3 years ago, because I did this. I was pretty far into this project. Well, no, it's been 2 years ago, 2018. because as many of you guys know, I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I tried an insulin pump in the middle of this project, and needless to say, I started working on a magneto of this the day they put that on, and it took 2 weeks before I was back out in the shop again. So needless to say, I'm not on one. But so 2018, February of 2018 is when I was finishing this up, and I probably got it running in March, I want to say, and had it out running and mowing. I haven't extensively worked it. I know the fuel tank leaks on this from what I remember, and I'm sure there was probably a couple oil leaks I was still chasing. There's actually a whole bunch of seals in the toolbox drawer for this project, and I had found this low slung exhaust on a parts unit I got here in the spring, and that was going to go on here. But I think what's going to happen here, and I think, you know how plans change, this one has the correct exhaust intake manifold on the exhaust, and all I would have to do is fix the stud in this exhaust and the hole right there, which I think you guys can see at the tip of my finger, and put that on here. And this tractor would be pretty original. Now this tractor too has some oil leaks to it. I'm pretty sure the head gasket leaks a little bit on it, and it does smoke slightly. The weird oil leak to it, because the cam's leaking, it is what it is. It actually pushes oil up around the bolt for this this valve cover, valve tappet cover, and it physically comes up around the nut. It's not like it's oozing out around the base; it comes out around the nut, and you can tell it's done that for a long time, judging by the oil caked on that side. And I also wonder if the cylinder is cracked on this, because I don't know if you guys can see the wetness right here, but I'm going to hope that it's rolling down from the blown head gasket right there and across. I've only owned this tractor for maybe perhaps a month and a half, something like that. So it hasn't got totally gone over yet. I've added oil and changed it is about the main things I've done. I wanted to see, because this one here has been updated to the high volume oil pump, and I think you guys can see, yeah, the plug back there, and this has the new style oil pump cover that goes into the oil pump cover and not into the block, and there's also studs that hold the block on too with nuts. So I'll go over here and try not to cut my finger off on the reels on the 64. This one here still has the original low volume oil pump, and it's plumbed for high volume. So I need to fix this. I haven't used this thing a lot. I mean, I've used it in the garden just to use it, but not extensively. And it does have some studs holding the block on too. That's actually a stud there. This one here is a bolt. The bottom two are studs. That one over there is a stud. Yeah. So, and this has the cast iron intake, all the cast iron intake pieces, which I've acquired most of those for this other one over the years. Let me get back out of here without hitting my head. So I was in the process, basically, of getting ready to paint this. 2 years ago, I started chasing oil leaks, and then you kind of just get tired of looking at something, you push it to the side, and you move on to something else. So that was kind of what happened with this 44 project. I never really lost faith in it, but I just kind of walked away for a little while. And this is the only tractor I haven't had running in here this year. You guys have just seen the 58. 59 was out the till. Every single tractor in here I've had running and has gone to a show actually and ran up on the trailer. So it's fairly late at night tonight, so probably tomorrow night I'm going to start this. And I put this double knife sickle bar on here, and I just want to try it once. I've never actually tried it. But this tractor ran pretty decent. Gotta probably put a spark plug in it, judging by the fact that that plug's not screwed in, and a plug wire. And I guess I'm going to change the fuel tank out, since I have one that I believe won't leak. And run this thing a bit. Just to, be good to keep the oil circulated in it. And it is October 19th tonight. So, I also find it wild that they both have Fairbanks and Morse magnetos on them. That's kind of wild. But anyhow, that's both my 44s. The other thing I was going to say is this one still has 3 of the 4 wooden handles on it. It's missing the one for the high-low range, which high-low range I think would be the one that's used a lot more. And I'll have to look around on some of my older parts units and shift rods and see if there happens to be one wooden shift handle in there, and that would make this a really try to make it as original as possible machine to run at a show or something. Like I said, fix the oil lines and it'd be good enough to run for me. So, alright guys, thank everybody for watching. It's a long-winded one. 12 minutes of Steve talking. Neither one of them have the decals left on the hood. What are you going to do? They're what, 70 years old? Yeah, I'll have to think on that a minute. Might be closer to 80 years old, huh? 2020, 44? Let me do that math in my head here, hold on. Okay, if Steve's finger math is correct, they'd be 76 years old. Does that sound right to you guys? That sounds right. I'm going to roll with it. If it's not right, it'll be right here. So anyhow, later guys. Thanks for watching. Well, I know that spark off the tractor. Victory! Finally had a kick once. It appears though it has run lean. Runs better with more gas in it. Gotta check the oil on that sickle bar yet. Amazing what a little bit of carb tuning will do. Not perfect, but it ain't bad.